So Bethesda's been bought by Microsoft. Right. Okay. Well, let's talk about it. It's been officially confirmed by the Microsoft Twitter, and they've got themselves an article up on there, which is quite interesting, I must say. I'll be honest with you, I didn't see it coming. I don't know if it was something that was around in the sphere somewhere, but it seems really out of left field, I suppose. Didn't even know that Bethesda Zenimax were even up for sale. But there you go. Gosh, my first thought is, this is a bad move. Really, I would love to be optimistic about it, and I suppose in many ways, actually, it is a good thing for myself. I suppose. Not such a good thing for people who are, looking to buy the new PlayStation. I suppose it's good in Microsoft's corner for the console wars. So I guess a lot of this is sort of a speculation. We don't know exactly what's going to happen, but of course, studios or publishers do have, Microsoft being the owning portion of it, will have control over that, and I don't think we will see Microsoft allowing their games over to PlayStation. Obviously, Microsoft have got a really good precedent of putting everything on PC, so that's good. I imagine all of Bethesda's future games will come over there, which is nice for me. And it probably is realistically what Microsoft need. I guess my trepidation is with the games that have been produced by Microsoft and its studios, especially the last generation. They were pretty lackluster. I think the fact that they can't even get Halo released in time for the new console is, well, it puts them majorly on the back foot, and it's not really a good sign for any studio or publisher studio that they were to take over. I think, I've seen some comments. Some people are quite glad because Bethesda has been not performing to its highest level recently. They've got some really good IPs in there, and just to, Fallout 76, of course, Elder Scrolls Online, for me anyway, wasn't very good. Elder Scrolls Blades, changes that they made to mods for Fallout 4, and I guess sort of like the most, and a lot of, and some stuff that they didn't do quite well with Fallout 4. Seeming almost to lose their way. I do imagine though that the same creative minds will be in there working on the new Elder Scrolls, and if and when there is a new Fallout game. But it just seems, I don't know. I think when you compare Microsoft and Sony, we'll just take them because I don't believe Sony was ever in the running for it. That's just pure speculation on my part. But when you consider the fact that Sony's, first party or exclusive games have been, really focused around the single player experience, and you've seen how well they've done and how well they've sold and how much of a following that they've garnered compared to anything that Microsoft has attempted to bring out. It's just absolutely night and day. And I suppose that's where, like I said, that's where I'm a bit trepidatious, because you've got, one company doing stuff really well and the other one not doing stuff very well, taking on a company that hasn't been doing stuff very well. So, I don't know whether those two will come together and make things worse, or, whether we will see something come out of the bag. I know, obviously, there's Starfield and the Elder Scrolls 6 have been announced, or we know that they exist. So I imagine that, hopefully, there's not a huge amount of change to the development of those games, to give them a fair shake. But when stuff like this happens, you do run the risk of potentially seeing the end of Bethesda long term. At least in the short to medium term, that they're going to be around. They're going to be a household name, of course, for a good while. But, as you see with BioWare under EA, I'm not saying EA and Microsoft are the same company, but they're in the same industry, same sort of people advise these companies, and I think we will see some likening of the two. So I guess, my fear is for Bethesda Zenimax long term. They're paying the money for the IPs, I think, really. And for me, it's a shame. It's good to see these big independent game companies as well that sort of have their own steer and are able to do their own thing. Notwithstanding Bethesda not doing too great, but I was sort of reserving judgment for their next big single player game, and we'll go from there, see if they've still got it. But I guess now we won't know what that would look like, due to whatever influences Microsoft has, and presumably the Microsoft exclusivity as well, which, like I say, not an issue for me, but not necessarily good for the game industry as a whole, I guess. Although, does it really matter? I could sit here and say, well, God of War isn't on Xbox, so that's not really good for anyone, or PC, Whereas at least everything that Microsoft acquires, it sticks on PC as well, even if it's through the bloody Microsoft store. But, we'll see. Who knows? Maybe that means I'll finally get rid of the Bethesda launcher. That would be good. But yeah, that's a rant for another day. So I'm interested to know what you think. Are you as pessimistic as me? I seem to be rather pessimistic all the time. But will Microsoft have an adverse effect on any future games? Because we all know, especially stuff that's released on the Microsoft Store, is not very mod friendly. It's also usually a bit more expensive, but that is what it is. I suppose we're sort of all going that way. And if you're someone who really likes Sony or going to buy a PlayStation 5, I guess, how does that feel that you may not get Skyrim next generation? No, not Skyrim. The Elder Scrolls 6, obviously. I don't know. It's a really bizarre one. I guess we'll have to keep our eyes on it. And it is what it is. Every company is subject to being taken over. Don't think that any company is too big. There is always a bigger fish or a consortium or whatever. That goes for Microsoft and Sony as well. They're not untouchable. They can be bought out. So there you have it. That's my thoughts. And 2 videos in one day. Crazy. But I just wanted to give my initial thoughts and opinions on this, just because it's broke quite soon. And we'll see. We can evaluate this as it goes on. Thanks for watching, guys. See you next time. Bye for now.